Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now this video is actually part two. I previously showed you this Born to Sparkle embossing folder and the layering stencil that goes with it. And I also, in my video, which I'll link above, I had embossed several panels and just showed them along with the embossing folder. So that's what this 3D Born to Sparkle embossing folder looks like. Now today I'm just going to bring in the stencil, and we're actually going to stencil some of these panels that I had previously embossed, and we'll make a couple cards with it. So I've just got my waffle flower sticky stencil mat there. It's like a silicone, and it just kind of holds your card in place and your stencil in place. And I'm actually going to bring some tape in and tape it down. I'll bring in some pink pixie tape and we will tape this up, and then we'll just get to stenciling. Now this panel, I'm going to be using some lunar silver lining emboss or lunar paste is what I'm going to use. And so I've just got this silver lining lunar paste, and I'm going to get just a palette knife and get it laid down on here. Now I will tell you with this panel, I get all this lunar paste laid down on there, and I'm putting it on pretty thick, trying to get it covered and everything. And I finished this up, and I'm just going to tell you because I'm not working with this panel today. I'll work with a couple of the other panels that I will stencil as well. But this one, when I got it finished up, I thought you can't see the texture of the gems that are on this embossing folder. It just looked like I had basically put a bunch of gunk on top of them, and it just, you couldn't tell what was laying on there. And I was like, oh, this turned horrible. And so then I laid it aside, and I thought, well, I'll let it dry and just see what happens. And I let it dry for a little bit. And then when I got my heat tool out to emboss the next panels that I'm going to be embossing, I went ahead and dried it a little bit with the heat tool, and it still didn't look like much. And I was like, oh, this looks awful. So I actually threw it in the trash and then just went on my way working on the other panels. And as I was moving along and working on the panels and stuff, I went to throw some stuff away, and I looked down at that panel in the trash, and it had finally, even after I used the heating tool, it dried back to where you could see the dimension and the pattern on there. And so I pulled that out of the trash, and I'll actually show it to you in this video, but we didn't work with it because I was already well into the video and had made the cards and everything when I discovered in the trash can that panel actually dried back and you could actually see the dimension. So anyway, that's my little story about this panel, but I went ahead and left it in. But as you can see right now, it just looks like I blobbed some paste on there. It just really doesn't look like much. So this is where I'm just going to lay it aside and let it dry, and then clean up all this mess and get to working on some other panels. So here I'm bringing in the red panel that I had embossed the other day, and I've got the stencil, and I'm just going to lay some pink pixie tape down, and I've got some ink. This is just an ink pad from the Hobby Lobby that is a clear embossing ink pad, and I've got some Nuvo embossing powder here, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on here. I did speed this up because there's so little powder in this container that I just kept having to lay it back down on, sprinkle it off, lay it back down and sprinkle it off to get good coverage. It just wasn't, it's a tiny little bottle of embossing powder. So we'll get this powder all on here and get it shook off, and then we'll get to embossing this. And you can see I'm starting to get good coverage on it. So I'm just going to put everything back into the container, and we're going to start heating this panel up. So I'm just going to grab my embossing tool, and you'll just see it change color very quickly as we heat it up. And I think the gold on this red poppy paper took on an orange hue with the gold on there. It seemed less red to me and looked more orange with the gold embossing on there. So anyway, we've got some really good, it looks like we've got some gold gems. So I'll just make sure I get it heated up all over. And then we'll lay this panel aside and let it cool so that we can work with it later. And now I'm bringing in a black panel, and I'm going to get it laid down. And I'm going to do some white embossing powder on this one. So we've done the silver, we've done the gold, and now I'm going to do white. And I chose the white because I thought the lunar paste just didn't work, but I'll later find out it did turn out all right. Now this is just Versamark embossing ink, VersaFine Clair, I think. Now hang with me because we are going to make a couple of cards, and we're going to make a gift card holder. We're going to use the Treat Yourself gift card die set, and we'll make a gift card as well. So we'll get 2 cards and a gift card made. We just got to get through this embossing. I'm just bringing in my copy paper, and I've got some white embossing powder, and I'm going to get it laid down on here, and then we'll heat this one up, and we will have 3 embossed panels at this point, and we'll use 2 of them. So I'm just going to get all this back in there, and then we'll heat it up, and we'll have another panel. I think this is really pretty. The dimension on here, and then when you add the sparkle to it, it really is fun. So you can just see that white popping. I need to get some silver embossing powder, and I really need to get some new gold embossing powder. That gold embossing powder that I have is old. So I'm just going to get this dried, good and dried up. We're going to move on to the next panel. So I've got the gold embossed panel, and I have got the Treat Yourself gift card die cut pieces here, and I'm just scoring the panels for the gift card holder. And I'm going to bring in some double-sided tape and put it on here to tape it up. But I recommend using glue because this tape was really too wide for the gift card opening. So I would just recommend using some glue and just putting a real fine line there and then laying it down. And I've got these 2 panels here. I've got the scalloped one, and I'm going to get it laid down on here. And I sped this up because I fiddled around with this stuff a long time, and it just kind of went on, and so I thought I'd speed it up just to kind of save some time. So now I am bringing in my cinnamons that I have previously die cut out. I have the Fabulous Birthday Etch cinnamons, and I have got the Birthday Cheers etched dies, and so I've got a couple of different sets here. I've also got the Classy Numbers in there as well. I die cut several of those out in silver and gold, and I'm just selecting some things. I'm going to use the gold on this because we've got that etched embossed panel there, the gold embossed panel, and so we're going to use gold. I've chosen a Bougie Birthday for the red card there, and I'm going to use the To You and the Babe from the cinnamon, the Bougie cinnamons, the Fabulous cinnamons, and we'll get them laid down on there. Now the Treat Yourself gift card actually comes with the words For You, and I chose not to use those because I had die cut them out in red, and I wanted gold on this gift card holder because I wanted the card and the gift card holder to go together. And so I chose to put the gold cinnamons on there. Now here I'm going to lay the red confetti down around the To You. And we'll just add some little festiveness to this little card. And then we'll use the rest of the confetti on the other panel that we're going to put on the card. And I think it's super cute. I'm just going to tuck that in there. And then you've got the scalloped panel there, and I'm going to just add some of these larger confetti pieces. And I'm going to put the babe on that part of it. And we'll add some more of the extra decorative elements. Now here's where I decided to pull it apart and glue it in the opposite direction so that when I take my picture, I can show both the inside and the outside of this for my picture for Spellbinders. I have to take pictures of my product and I have to upload them to their site. And so to do that, I want to be able to take pictures of both of them. So I'm flipping this in the opposite direction and I'm going to glue it up. And this is where I said, you know, the glue will work better. And I cut that red panel down and I used a strip of it and laid it on this edge here as a decorative element and to cover up where I ripped the tape off there, and did this in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to get all my little pieces laid down there. I got my babe here, and then we've got 2U, and I'm going to add some more of those elements. There's a heart, a star, and some other, I don't know, flowery looking things. And it really makes a cute little gift card. So now we're going to work on the card, and I'm going to get a card base, bring in a card base, and we'll just get this panel laid down on here. I actually think I bring in some gold and lay it behind there. I've got some gold, I think I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. It's inexpensive gold paper. And I'm just going to lay it down, and then we'll layer our red on top of it, and then we'll bring in our gold sentiments. And I'm going to use some foam tape on this just because I've done a lot to the panel with the 3D embossing folder and then the heat tool. So I thought I'd just flatten it out with some foam tape there. So we'll get this laid down on the card, and we'll have a fast card with this. Basically, I've got a 3D embossed panel with some embossing powder on it and a couple of sentiments, and that's all there is to it. You really don't need to add anything else because there's so much shine and dimension to it that you don't necessarily need any embellishments or anything. So we'll glue our sentiments down on here, and that'll pretty much take care of it. I like on these birthday sentiments, the dot on the eye is attached to you, so you don't have to worry about losing the tittle to your eye. I like when they do that. It keeps things simple. So I'm going to use my magnets and just press down on the sentiment so that it'll stick. We've got quite a bit of dimension on this card, and so to get things to stick, you got to make sure you put plenty of glue and you add some pressure so that it will adhere to something, to one of the raised edges or whatever. Trying to go slow with that glue since I've got that wider nozzle on it so that I don't put too much glue down. And I think I get a little messy and I wind up kind of cleaning it up with my fingers. Oh, I know what happens when I pick up this magnet. I think I pick up the sentiment with it. So now here's the white panel, and I think it really pops off the black, that white embossing powder. And we're going to make a card with it as well. I'm going to cover most of it up, shamefully, but I thought I needed a base for my sentiments to lay. So once we get this laid down on here, then I'll go looking for another piece of black cardstock, and I'll emboss it. And we'll create a landing zone for our sentiments. So there we go. So I've got my sentiments there, and I'm realizing these are just going to get lost in on all of this. So I went and got a black panel, and I embossed it with the same 3D embossing folder, and I cut it down to 3 3/4 by 5. Here we go. We're going to lay it down, and I'll go to my die cutting machine and emboss it. And then we've got a nice little panel here. So you can see I covered up a good amount of that. You've just got the focal point, I guess, kind of peeking around there. But I thought it was kind of neat to bring in another layer of that embossed panel. And it looks really good without any stenciling or embossing on it anyway, because it's just a fabulous embossing folder. And I was going to glue it down directly, and I decided to do the foam tape. And so I pulled it off, and we're just going to add the foam tape. And on this one, we're just going to do a similar thing where we just add some more of those sentiments on there and just kind of let the embossed panels be the focal point. I spun it around, but I don't really think it makes any difference which direction, because they're just laying all in all different directions there. Oh, I guess that didn't stick on there. Maybe it was the black one that it did that on. So we'll get these sentiments laid down on there. We're just going to do classy and sassy. And I think my glue gun was kind of getting clogged up again, so had to pause for a minute and fix it up and then get the glue coming out again. So anyway, while we're doing this, we'll just have a little chit chat about what I did today. So today I actually, I finished up I did some HTV on a t-shirt for my grandson's 7th birthday, and it was a little Pikachu. I had bought a bundle with some Pikachu images, and I created a happy 7th birthday with Pikachu on there. And I needed to get it to my daughter so that she'll have it for tomorrow. They're going to have a 2-part birthday party. They're going to have a little party for the kids at a, I don't know, jumping place or somewhere, I don't know. And then we're going to have a party at the house for him. This is where I lay that pink piece down on there. And this is the one where it actually sticks and it pulls it up, and I kind of make a gluey mess with it, but we're able to fix it. Anyway, so I took that shirt over, and they were planning to go to the gym, so I sat with the boys. There it is. It's stuck on there. And so I've got to get it laid back down on there and then clean it up. I think the glue seeped out, and that's why it did that. So I'm going to just use the magnets and hold it down on there. Anyway, so I spent an hour watching the boys while they were at the gym working out, and we played with Legos for an hour. We assembled. They have so many Legos, and it was so much fun. We built a whole bunch of things. So here's where I've dug this out of the trash, and it has finally dried up. It's really got some great dimension on there, and it looks really cool. And I wished I'd used this one for the card instead of the white one. I think it would have been really pretty. But I had it in the trash. I thought it didn't work out. The other pink panel I had done previously, and I didn't work with it today either. But I wanted to show you that that lunar paste did dry up, and it came out. So here we go. Now this is the first card that I made in the first video, and it was with the ganache gâteau cake. And then here's the bougie in red, Bougie Birthday. We've got the Treat Yourself gift card, and you could put that as a set there. And then we've got it in black and white with a silver, classy and bougie. And this is a really fun set. I'll link all the materials in the description box below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care.